time to give the people what they want. It's Jalen and Jacoby.
Welcome to Jalen and Jacoby. In for Jalen Rose, Al Harrington joining us today.
Yes, sir.
We'll have Amin El Hassan later. Thank you so much for coming through. Last night, there was a big game on ESPN between the Celtics and the Lakers, and we were introduced to two legends. Let's roll the tape. We have this guy with the Lonzo sucks, and then we have this guy, Popcorn Head. Watch the zoom in, Popcorn Head with the stare. So here we have a young man who took the time to put Lonzo sucks on his ample belly, and this gentleman who wasted the end of his popcorn to become a legend on the internet. Who are you going for? Lonzo sucks belly guy or Popcorn Head?
I'm going with Lonzo sucks belly guy.
Okay.
I'm going with the kiddo.
Here's the thing is, it's very difficult to write that on yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So somewhere there's like a little brother or like a friend that he's like, right, Lonzo sucks on my belly. He's like, I want to touch your belly, dude.
I'm sure it was his dad. I'm sure it was his dad did it.
You think it was his dad?
It was definitely his dad.
Yeah, it wasn't even his idea. He's like, lie down, kid. We're going to get you on television.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Well, Lonzo Ball certainly doesn't suck. But he's not shooting that well.
Right.
He has shot from below 30% from the floor in 8 of his 11 games. He's currently shooting 34.4% from the field. 25% from outside the paint, which is second to last in the NBA amongst qualifying players. On his shooting struggles, he said, quote, "It's in my head, to be honest. I know I can shoot the ball."
Right.
How much of it is in his head? What does he mean by in his head?
Now, I know what he's going through. It's just a confidence thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he's doing everything he can. I'm sure he's getting extra shots and everything, but it's just when he get in the game, it's just not working out for him. So it's just one of those things you have to just keep fighting through, and I think he definitely has the shot. I know it's not pretty, but, you know, I think it's efficient and it's effective, so he'll make a couple shots soon.
So you mentioned his shot and his form. You know, the whole, like, take it from the other hip and shoot it in. You can do that when it's going in, but once you have shooting struggles, you know it's going to start happening, right? Like someone's going to say he needs to change his shooting form. Like,
of course.
Do you think that conversation is being had?
I'm sure it's being had, but if I was him, I would look at a guy like Kevin Martin. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Martin, the guy that shot from his hip as well and shot at a high clip.
Sean Marion.
Sean Marion had a weird shot. There's a bunch of guys that had weird shots. So if I was him, I wouldn't change nothing.
But you got to earn your weird shot. Don't you have to earn your weird shot
you gotta
with the
make it.
numbers? Exactly.
You
Like,
gotta make 'em.
that's kind of what my point is. It's like, Lonzo, you can have a weird shot, but when you have a weird shot and it's not going in, people are going to start asking about your weird shot.
But everybody relax. It's 10 games. It's such a long season. He has 72 more games to play, so I'm not worried about it at all.
You're not worried about him at all?
Not at all.
What about the Lakers in general as a team?
I like the Lakers, too. I think they're putting, you know, some nice young pieces together. I like the kid Kuzma a lot. You know what I'm saying? I like Brandon Ingram, you know, the veteran, what they added with the, I can't remember his name, the big, tall, what is his name?
Who? Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez.
Yep.
Brook Lopez. So I like what they're building. I think they'll be okay. They're not going to be, you know, championship contenders anytime soon, but at least they can be fun to watch.
Yeah, well, they'll have a completely different roster next year, I feel like.
I'm
you know
sure.
what I mean? Something tells me that Magic is on the text, and he's going to bring in some big names to join that young roster that you speak of. Well, Lil Dang is also another veteran on that team. Right. And he has made it very clear that he no longer wants to be on that team. He said, quote, "The only answer for me now is to prove myself away from LA. I'm not asked to play. I'm not in the rotation, so I can't prove myself there."
Right.
So I want to ask you about this. There's Kyrie Irving demanded a trade.
Right.
Eric Bledsoe tweeted he didn't want to be here, and all of a sudden he got a trade. Mirotic, it's either Bobby Portis or it's me.
Right.
And now you have Dang kind of like forcing the organization's hand and not demanding a trade, but sort of like pressing his way out of town.
Right.
Is this new? And what do you think about this practice?
Well, I mean, I've done it before.
Oh.
You know, when I was in Golden State, you know, I didn't get along with Don Nelson. I just knew it wasn't going to work. I knew if I stayed there, I felt like he was going to shorten my career. So I had to put it on myself and had to go in there and tell, you know, I had to tell him first, and he didn't believe it.
What'd you say to him?
I told him, I said, I called him. It was funny. You know, he lives in Maui.
Yes.
So I called him, and I'm like, you know, what's up, coach, or whatever. He's like, hey, Al, I'm just chilling in my pool on a floaty. And I was like, oh, all right. I was like, well, I was called to tell you that I no longer want to be on this team. And he was like, Al, it's going to be different. We lost Barron. You know, I think it's going to be some new leadership roles for you and different things like that. But I added up to here with him at that point, and I was like, look, I want out. So he came back during the season. He made me the captain of the team, all these different things. But I just didn't like him at that point. You know, he rubbed me the wrong way the year before, and I just was like, I need to get out of here. So we played 5 games, and then he called me into the cafeteria. We have like a little cafeteria in Golden State, and he calls me in. And he's like, I want to talk to you. You know, you're going to start backing up Brandon Wright. And I was like, back up who? He's like, Brandon Wright. I was like,
is that the leadership role you have for me?
I'm like, I'm not backing up Brandon Wright. And he was like, yes, you are. I said, all right, we'll see. And I never put on a uniform again.
Really? So do you have your agent go to the GM? Like, what's the process?
Well, yeah, you got to call my agent. My agent was already on board. So it was just at that point, he was just like, well, what you want to do? You willing to get, suspended or fined and everything? And I was like, yes, I do not want to play here anymore under him. So it was one of those things. So it's been going on for a long time. And, I think that, when you have a disgruntled player like that, and especially when they can play, you have to get them out of there because they'll be a distraction to the team.
That's what I wanted to go with this. If you were the GM, if you were the organization, and a player that you wanted on the team that was a key part of your production said, I no longer want to be here, this isn't working, would you acquiesce to that request, or would you say, you know what, you signed a contract, that's just kind of how it goes?
No, it depends. It depends on the guy, and it depends on the team and everything like that. But, when you think about it, unlike a lot of sports, basketball chemistry is huge. You know what I'm saying? If you got a guy in there that don't want to be there, it's just not going to work. You know what I'm saying? So, and especially you talking about a guy that you need production from.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not happy, or you decide, just go sit home, that hurts your team. So you're going to have to, give him that request.
That makes a lot of sense, because there'd be a part of me that'd be like, oh, you want to trade? Like, okay, cool. Like, you know what? I want to live in Maui with Don Nelson, but I don't. So that's just the way life goes, and you sign a contract and you have to play here. That's not how it goes.
It's not how it goes. Not at all.
How disgruntled were you, though? Were you a cancer in the locker room?
No, I was not a cancer. I've never been like that. My teammates, when I left, my teammates will always call me Steven Jackson, Barron, Monte. No, it's not Barron, sorry, Monte Ellis. They're like, yo, come back, man. It'll be okay. We'll give you the ball. All kind of stuff. And I'm like,
we'll
no.
run every play for you.
Like,
we need you. We'll buy you dinner. We'll carry your bag.
To my guns. I do not want to play for that man anymore.
Well, you'll be sticking with us.
Yes, sir.
And you'll be back and after this, and we'll be discussing medicinal marijuana and your involvement and its involvement in the NBA. That is the noise of Jalen Rose feverishly brushing his hair. How tall are you?
6'8".
You brush your hair with such ferocity and frequency that I'm afraid you're going to be 6'7", 6 months from now. You like sand your head down. I'm worried about you. That can't be good for your scalp. Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. Al Harrington in for Jalen Rose. Thank you so much for coming by. Of late, you've been somewhat of a champion for cannabis and the use of medical marijuana, and you actually have talked to David Stern, and you've suggested that this be off the banned list. Why do you feel so strongly about this?
Because, I just look at it, how it's actually helped me personally. You know what I'm saying? People around me, my grandmother, she suffered from glaucoma and diabetes, all kind of eye pressure, pain all the time. I introduced her to cannabis, and it completely changed her life. You know what I'm saying? It upgraded the quality of life for her. Even myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of the guys that had 14 surgeries in my career.
Wow.
For 7.5 years, I was on anti-inflammatories every day just to be able to cope with pain and inflammation and stuff like that. And then I found cannabis. And I feel like it's something that's all natural. It's something that, when you think of all of pharmaceutical drugs and the clinical risks and stuff like that, opioid epidemic and stuff like that, with cannabis, I feel like you don't have any of that. So, I just feel like that the NBA or all sports leagues should give players an option, an alternative way to medicate themselves to a lot of the issues that they deal with.
So when you say you introduced your grandmother to it, you didn't pass her a bong. No. You know what I mean? So explain to our audience and to me what you mean by that when you're with and how it helped you.
Right. Well, so I'll just use my grandmother first. She had come to see me while I was playing for the Denver Nuggets, so the medical program had just got going there. So I was one of those guys that always read the paper after every win or loss or whatever, just to see what the media
Everybody
had to say,
does that, by
and
the
what
way.
George had
Every
to say,
single player does that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So every day it was articles about marijuana in it. You know what I'm saying? And all the benefits and just all the regulations, everything that was going on with it. And when she came to see me, I was like, Grandma, well, they have medical marijuana here that helps with glaucoma. And she's like, boy, you better get out of here. I ain't smoking no reefer.
Yeah, of course.
She's like, I ain't smoking no reefer, this out there. I was like, all right, Grandma. She was really totally against it. So the next day I came home, I had a game that day. She was sitting in the same spot in my kitchen. I said, Grandma, you sure you don't want to just give it a try? I'm like, you have all this medication here and you're still sitting here in pain. Just give it a try. So we talked for about an hour and she said, you know what? I'm in so much pain, I'll try anything today. So I had my boy go and get us some Vietnam Kush is what it was called. We vaporized it for her, actually. Took her in the garage. She hit it 2 or 3 times. What was funny about that was that, that, most times when people hit, vapor stuff like that, they cough. She's like, I'm like, yeah, grandma. You sure? You ain't tried this yet? But I took her downstairs. I took my nap. I woke up like, an hour and a half later, knocked on the door, and her back was to the door, and she was looking down. So I said, Grandma, you okay? And she turned around. She had tears in her eyes, man, and she was just like, I'm healed. She said, I haven't been able to see the words of my Bible in over 3 years. And, like, I started crying, too, like, just seeing her cry or whatever. And, like, at that point, I realized that it was bigger than just people just getting high, that this was actually medicine. You know what I'm saying? And then I had my issues. I had staph infection in my knee. I had to have 6 surgeries to clean it all out.
Wow.
And, obviously I'm on pain meds, I'm on everything. And I had this lady come up, and then she introduced me to the creams and to the tinctures or whatever, just straight CBD, where you don't have to smoke anything. And
those are non-psychotropic, right?
And they're
Those
non-psychotropic, and cannabinoids, they have an anti-inflammatory effect in the body and stuff like that with the receptors and stuff like that. And I have not used an anti-inflammatory. I've not used Advil or anything since. I've been medicating myself purely through cannabis, and I played in the Big 3 this summer. I've been able to compete at a high level still, and just everyday life is just great.
When you say compete at a high level, do you mean compete high?
No, at a high level.
Got you.
Correct.
So you spoke with David Stern.
Right.
And let's take a look at a clip, because we talked about this on the show.
I bought something for you.
Oh, okay.
I actually bought some creams for you to actually
I'm
try.
not going to get arrested on my way out.
I promise you won't.
All right, you promise.
I put it in a bag that's,
Okay, so it looks like a bagel.
Yeah, it looks perfect.
Okay, that's
You'll
good.
never
That's
know.
good. All right, I'll take it.
You got a bagel bag for me? You bring a bagel bag for me?
Of course.
You got a bagel bag for everybody?
We in Cali. That's easy.
So, do you think David Stern used the bagel bag? Did he walk out with it?
He definitely walked out with it.
He walked out with it.
He definitely walked out with it.
Okay, good. Who knows who knows? He's retired, though.
Right.
He's got a lot of free time.
He may have left it in the
Who
Uber.
knows? Yeah.
Know.
Who knows? Maybe he didn't even use it in the Uber. Maybe it's like a week later. He was like, what should I do today? Where's that bagel bag that Al Harrington gave me? That'd be really helpful right now.
I need to ask him. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually going to meet with him in 2 weeks. Me and him are going to go to lunch, so I'll find out and I'll let you know next time.
But here's how you know if he used it. Did he call the meeting or did you? Because if he called the meeting, that means you're his plug.
I called him.
Okay. Next on the Uninterrupted Network, and you can see the whole story at uninterrupted.com. There's a show called Kneading Dough. It's hosted by Maverick Carter, who's LeBron's business partner and friend, and also a friend of this program. And Maverick's guest on this episode was Ben Simmons, and he had this to say about his college experience.
If I was as talented as you, would I see a point in that 6 or 7 months of being there?
And I think no. I think I would have learned a lot more being around professional athletes. Looking at it now, I don't even really know what I learned financially or just being a person at LSU. I think I've learned a lot more with this whole year being in Philly and being a pro than I did at LSU.
You went straight to the pros yourself.
Correct.
What do you think about what Ben Simmons said? What do you think about the one and done policy?
I agree with him. One, I think the one and done policy makes no sense. I don't understand it. Like, what is it accomplishing? What are you? I mean, I feel like the NBA, if anything, they're doing it just because they gives them another year to look at the talent before they jump out there and draft a high school kid with the first 5 picks, or one of the first 5 picks. But when you look at the history of the high school players, we're very successful. I would say
for the most part.
We're batting at it. Got to be at 80%. Batting average, you know what I'm saying, of guys that, played more than 5 years and actually had really good careers. You know what I'm saying? So for me, if a kid can play, let him play. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can go and fight for our country and every other sport except for, and vote and everything. But, the only other sport obviously is football, that you can't come out of high school. But, baseball, hockey, everything else, I don't understand what was the issue.
So, not Commissioner Stern, your friend, but Commissioner Silver has sort of just sort of dabbled in potentially having a 1 year in the G League, sort of kind of be a compromise. Would that work for you?
That'll work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's better than these kids going to school and not going to school. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they do just enough to be eligible to play, and as soon as the season's over, they leave the school anyway. So at the end of the day, to me, they didn't accomplish anything.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks.
And next time you're here, I want to find out if David Stern went into the bagel bag.
All right, for sure. I got your bagel bag, too.
Thanks so much. I can't do that.
Yeah, right.
Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. I want to thank Al Harrington for coming by. Right now, we have Amin El Hassan. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
No, thanks for having me.
We're going to play Soft Move or Boss Move.
Love this game.
Let's do it. Drake did a revealing interview with The Hollywood Reporter. He revealed a lot of things. I like it. He revealed a lot of things, that he's going to take some time off, do some acting, and blah, 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 blah. All that matters is this. He said that he has been collecting Birkin bags for his future wife. Soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
You like it?
You know what, man? And look, I'm not saying that I would use his tactics, but I like the strategy there because now every single woman he comes into contact with has in her head,
yes,
I could be the one, I could be Mrs. Graham, and I get all those bags.
Yes, yes.
So it's just kind of like, it's really kind of an inducement, or what do they call
like
it?
enticing.
Yeah.
I think it also, like, first of all, I just want to go down this road. Maybe it's not true. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's
you
true.
just throw that out
Just say
there.
it.
You just throw it out there, and all of a sudden you become a lot more attractive to a lot more people.
Because it sounds plausible.
There's a whole
also.
cachet. Like, he's got a whole wing of his house is full of Birkin bags. I don't even know what a Birkin bag looks like.
So I don't either. My wife was explaining this to me today.
Oh.
Unrelated to this story. We were just talking
She
about.
sent you a link, like, this is what I want for Christmas?
Well, she said there are bags, and then they have bags that you have to go into the store and request by name. Like, if you went to the store and looked at all their bags.
Yeah, off menu.
Yeah, they've got some off menu bags and stuff like that. So this is actually really smart for him. Because, like you said, he never actually has
You
to
never
buy
know.
them.
Yeah, you know when like some girl's over his house and he goes to the bathroom, they're like looking around for the bags.
Yeah,
they're going to the closet and everything. Next, Steve Kerr had a press conference.
Right.
At the press conference, he did this.
Everybody ready to tweet? Okay, Iguodala will start. And just let me know when you guys are done. You done? Okay. Hang on, I got a troublesome cuticle here.
That's a coach that just won a championship. Like, people that just win championships behave so different than people that didn't.
I'm glad you phrased it in that way. I saw him when they played the Clippers here the other night, and, you know, I don't like to jump in the scrum. I say what's up to him after everyone's done. But after the scrum, there are all these people who got these one-on-ones. So I'm waiting. And finally, he's done. I said, it's about time, man. You know, you changed. I said, guy wins a championship. Now everything's different. And he stops and said, no, I won 2 championships. And then he walked away.
I like it. Well, Luke Walton actually won it anyway.
Well, no, Luke Walton didn't.
That's right. That's the year they didn't win. So was it a soft move or a boss move to clip your nails during the press conference?
Well, given that he dismissed me so disrespectfully, I'm going to say it's a soft move,
There
Coach.
you go.
Stop disrespecting the media, trying to do their jobs.
Do you feel that you have to be in a very clean space, or that nail clipping is it's something that should only be done by yourself in a bathroom?
No, like when people get manicures and pedicures, that's someone else
In a
doing
professional
it for you.
thing.
Yeah.
But like, would you clip nails while you were doing a radio with
no,
Levitar?
no. I mean, I would because it's funny, but I wouldn't do it, genuinely.
Okay. Moving on. Selfhack.com founder Joe Cohen is willing to pay $10,000 to anyone who can find him a long-term girlfriend.
Oh, Lord.
And he's offering up a reward of $2,000 to anyone who introduces him to another person that can find him a long-term partner. I actually clicked on this link, and he has a very detailed breakdown of what he's looking for,
Right.
what his personality traits are, and it's like 7,000 words. It's like an old Bill Simmons column. It's like just long and detailed. And I started to think, maybe this is the problem.
That is.
Joe Cohen, $10,000 reward, soft move or boss move?
Soft move, man.